Yeah.
Six o'clock, I guess everybody's here that needs to be. Call to order. Have a pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Roll call, please.
I just forget your last name. Trustee Evans,
Here.
trustee Winkleblack,
Here.
trustee Price. Present. Mayor Wilcox.
Here. Okay. Are there any changes or deletions to the agenda?
I would suggest that we move item 6A down until, either to the end or until, Superintendent Long is here to, talk to it.
I spoke, Wilson, do you have anything to add to that? Angie said that if we did approve it, we could go ahead and she could email him and sign things over the web.
That's correct, but I think what Trustee Evans was suggesting is that she was hoping to hear from Mr. Long on that issue. And so if you do want to wait and handle the other business until he shows up, I know you said earlier that he was going to be coming. It sounds like, did I hear someone say it's snowing there?
Yes.
And there may be issues with the roads.
It's snowing and he did plan on being here, so.
So yeah, it's not the signature stuff can be figured out after the meeting, or we can email him a copy that just has the mayor's signature. But if you were hoping to hear from him on those issues, then yes, I would suggest moving that down the agenda and dealing with other business until he gets there.
Okay, I have no problem with that.
I would like to request that we have our next meeting rescheduled to Tuesday, April 8th.
I'm sorry, but I'm still going to be a trustee until the new trustees are sworn in, and I do have statements that I want to make, and I still cannot attend on it.
Okay. I assumed you were not a trustee after the people recalled you and that vote was canvassed in 10 days.
I'm a trustee until the new trustee is sworn in.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Until the new trustee is sworn in. Once the canvas is completed and then the new trustee is sworn in, then trustee Evans would no longer be a trustee at that point.
Okay. All right.
And just chiming in, that is correct under the law.
Okay. Can we make note of that in the minutes?
Okay. So we will wait until Mr. Long gets here.
I believe he has logged in online.
Okay, so he's on Zoom.
He is on Zoom. That is correct. There we go, check along.
Yep.
He would have to unmute himself. And then he disappeared.
We can try and call him. Do you want to?
Probably be best if he's on the recording with the Zoom.
Okay. I'm just saying if he wants to log back in and talk to us on Zoom. Or thinking that anyway.
Do you mind? Okay, thank you.
Hey Charter, sorry you got disconnected. Could you rejoin the Zoom meeting and unmute yourself? You're the first item on the agenda. Oh, okay. Well, then I think we can just address it. So we'll just bring it up. I think we could be on in case there's any questions for you. And then we'll just proceed. All right.
He is having problems with this connection. He's not really planning on presenting. So we can probably just let Wilson present, and if you've got any questions, I'll just keep him on the phone
Okay.
until he gets in.
So
Wilson?
yeah, I'll just speak to this really quickly. So as you know, the board already approved several other pieces of this project. The notice to proceed that is being presented tonight is just the final authorization for them to proceed. It actually authorizes the school district's contractor, FCI, to begin work. We felt that it was important that there is a specific authorization from the town for that, because once FCI starts doing the work, the town will have to pay invoices every month to FCI, granted from the funds that are being provided by the district, so that we can go through the whole reimbursement procedure with DOLA. And since the mayor's signature is going to have to be on all those checks, we just wanted to make sure that there was an explicit authorization for them to begin construction. There were also some other issues we were working to resolve with PBSD's attorneys last minute. All of that has been resolved from our perspective. So we are recommending that the board approve the notice to proceed tonight. My understanding is that if the board does take action on that, they are planning on beginning construction first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And we're looking at the notice to proceed that we received a hard copy of, not the one that was in our board packet.
That's correct.
Yes, thank you. I wasn't quite sure which versions were where, but yes, and the notice itself is a fairly simple and short document that just authorizes them to proceed. For legal reasons, it includes as exhibits some of the other agreements here, one of which is the school district's agreement with FCI, and the other is the IGA that was already approved by the board. So I understand with the exhibits, it's a really long packet, but essentially all the board is being asked to approve is that simple one-page notice.
Okay.
Wilson, you mentioned the entire contract.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that whole question.
Did you read through this entire contract?
Yes, I did.
Okay, did you have exhibit B in your contract?
The exhibit B to the school district's construction contract, the scope of work.
Yes,
Yes, I did.
okay, because it's not included in our packet.
I'm sorry, that's that was certainly not my intent to not include that. I can go back and look. I could have sworn I included it, but again, That's simply background information here. That contract does not even involve the town. It is between FCI and the school district. What we are asking the board to consider tonight is merely the notice that approves the beginning of construction.
Okay, has every easement been purchased along the line?
That is my understanding, yes.
You guys need to back up.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go ahead as the agenda is, and so we'll go back to persons not on the agenda. And please limit your comments to 3 minutes. And address your comments directly to the mayor. Identify yourself by name and address when making the comments. Comments should be courteous, civil, and constructive. The town board will make no decision or take action except to direct town manager or attorney. If you do have something that needs to go past the 3 minutes, I suggest that you get on a future agenda, come in and speak with the staff and do that so that we can go through the meetings in a timely fashion. We do want public input and to be involved, so that's why this piece is here. But if we need to take the discussion further, we need to be on the agenda. So Melanie, would you like to speak, please?
Before I do that, you guys still have not approved the agenda.
That's not something that staff has ever put on our agenda to approve the agenda. That's never been on our agenda to approve the agenda.
Well, but Tilda was adding to move that down. You don't.
Right, but we're not moving that down. It's staying where it's at.
Right.
So.
Melanie Clark, 59143 Buzzard Creek Road. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention, and you may already know this, but it seems like every time I go on the town website, things have been deleted. So currently, the November, December 2024 meeting minutes are gone, and so are January and February meeting minutes. And I simply wanted to bring that to your attention. If he wants to post it on it, it should be left.
Which ones are deleted? Sorry.
November, December of 24, January and February of 25.
November, December of
They
20
were on there, but they're no longer there.
and January,
February.
February of 25.
Yeah.
Have these been deleted? Angie?
No,
They're not on there.
Okay,
That was at 4:30 today.
thank you.
that was legit. Okay.
All right. With no others needing to speak, we'll move on to item number 6. The approval of items necessary to complete the PVSD waterline construction project. Notice to proceed with conditions. The Lock Waterline Project and the Department of Collbran Transportation Utility Permit. Mayoral signature approval for the PVSD Waterline Project.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, there was a question from Trustee Price earlier on Exhibit B to the construction contract with PBSD. I just wanted to clarify, the whole of Exhibit A to the notice to proceed is a combination of several different documents that comprise the district's contract with FCI. If you would like to review Exhibit B, Trustee Price, it is on pages 53 through 66 of that document. The document itself has a header stamp for Exhibit A because that entire document is Exhibit A to the notice, but the title denoting where Exhibit B starts is easy to miss if you are scrolling through the document, and that may have been how you missed it earlier. So I just wanted to make sure if you want to look at that later, you know that that's in there.
page numbers aren't very accurate, but okay. Yeah, I was curious about this, are we only discussing item A right now, or item A and B? The Colorado Department of Transportation Utility Permit mayoral signature approval, like, well, what utility permit? Like, do you have a map? Do we have details of this?
That permit is required by CDOT so that they can put the water line in the right of way.
Yeah, what right of way? Is there a map?
CDOT's right away, I don't have a map. But it is required to proceed with the project.
And as far as I'm aware, CDOT does not require a map for this permit.
It'd just be nice to know like where the water line is going that we're approving.
I mean,
It would be along the roadway and CDOT's right of way.
Yeah. In the middle of the road, on the north
Along-
side, on the south side,
Along the roadway.
right, that's what I asked. Like, it's hard to approve stuff when we don't have all the information, but. When did you guys get this contract?
Wilson,
Sorry, was the question, when do we need to get this signed?
When did we get this contract?
The contract between the school district and FCI.
Sure, yes, the contract in the board packet tonight.
That was provided to us, I think, sometime last week. Again, that is an agreement that has already been approved between the school district and FCI. It is included as an exhibit to the notice because it is necessary to state that both the town and the board are authorizing the beginning of construction of the right of way. But again, all the board is being asked to approve is what is in the one-page notice to proceed. So I
So you
Don't-
guys this last week, but we didn't get them added to our board packet, or we didn't know about them until yesterday. I'm just asking, this was a lot of information. I had to take the entire day off of work to read this board packet of 200 pages, you know? And so it's hard to make decisions as a board member and be informed when we don't get things in a timely manner.
so
That wasn't you.
the language of the notice to proceed was being negotiated with the school district's attorneys up until Friday, and actually to some extent up until yesterday. Again, we are asking the board for approval on the one-page notice. I've explained all of these other exhibits are supplemental documentation that is not, you do not need to parse the 200 pages of that construction contract to give approval to proceed here. What we are asking for approval on is the one-page notice to proceed that was included in the board packet. I understand that there are exhibits that are longer, but if you have questions, it should really just be about the notice itself, the authorization to begin work, not what the contractual relationship that exists between the school district and FCI.
What I'm asking is for future reference, we have more time.
when staff received those documents, they were sent to you. They were put into, no, we did not receive them on Friday. What we had, when we had it, was either posted in that packet
Right,
or forwarded to you.
okay,
It was not delayed for any means, purpose,
right.
or otherwise.
Well, next time, let's just wait to have a meeting, to have a few days to digest it.
So
Is what I
in
have.
sense of this meeting, we're not able to do that because we have to get the notice to proceed out so they can start construction. Right now, they're being held up on construction. So sometimes there's going to be things that we can't do that on. We will, whenever possible, attempt to get this out to you, at least by Thursday.
Yeah,
Not possible this time,
that would be great.
not possible this time.
I can't say that it's understandable, but. But yeah, this came to us Sunday, I found.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. May we have a vote, please?
Well, first we have that motion.
Oh, can I have a motion, please? Thank you. So appreciate it.
I move that we approve the items necessary to complete PVSD waterline construction project. Subnote A, notice to proceed with the conduction of PVSD waterline project construction. Subnote B, Colorado Department of Transportation utility permit mayoral signatory approval for the PVSD waterline project.
I second the motion.
Having a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we have a vote, please?
Trustee Evans,
Yes.
trustee Price,
Yes,
trustee Winkleblack,
Yes.
Mayor Wilcox.
Yes. Go ahead and sign this now so that you can take care of whatever you need to. with
Now we're
everyone.
in the meeting, it's fine.
Okay,
So-
yeah, I just need. Item number 7, approval of Pioneer Excavating LLC water valve replacement contract.
I'd like to ask why this is being brought back for board approval when it's already been approved by the board.
So this specific contract wasn't finally approved in February. I believe in February it was approval to award the bid to this company and then negotiate the contract. So this is just the contract that was in the RFP, but we wanted to make sure that it did get before the board for final approval.
I move that we approve the contract with Pioneer Excavating LLC and direct the mayor to sign it. Authorize the mayor to sign it.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just want to ask, this bond, did anybody check on it to make sure that they are truly bonded? Okay.
No further discussion. May we have a vote, please?
Trustee Evans,
Yes.
trustee Winkleblack,
Yes.
trustee Price,
Yes,
Mayor Wilcox.
Yeah. Okay. Motion passed. Approval. Number 8, approval of request for proposal, RFP, hiring a town water attorney.
So this one's pretty straightforward. This was in direct response to a request at a previous board meeting to hire a town water attorney. And so we're just asking that you approve the RFP so we can get that process rolling.
you guys already advertised this on Midnet Direct.
We did not, you have to approve it first.
Oh, it says this RFP has been advertised on Midnet.
This is a draft of what will be. So when this is published, that will be accurate.
All right, who do you plan on conducting interviewing on April 28th?
That would be up to the board to do interviews. So if that date doesn't work for y'all, then we can update that now.
It says the week of. So, So. I'm concerned that it needs to be known. That our water rights require immediate attention, and to be honest, of the lack of available information. Can that be added to the RFP?
That it requires immediate attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to make an honest summary of where we are at with our water rights.
So some of that information we may not want to place in the RFP because it will be attorney-client privilege. We don't want to waive that. We can put that these require immediate attention. We need a water attorney to start immediately. That kind of thing.
I would agree with Angie on that. I think you can include language in the RFP that generally states that it is that the town is seeking to hire a qualified water attorney as soon as feasibly possible, but putting a statement in the RFP to the effect that the water rights need immediate attention, there are several possible legal issues with that. So I would just recommend, certainly we can add some language stating that the town wants to make this hiring decision as soon as possible.
Well, the problem is that we need an attorney that a bulldog and can address immediate issues that have been neglected for years. And they might just be under the presumption that they're coming in to maintain water rights, not the truth of the state. None of us, the board doesn't know what kind of state our water rights are in. No, it's a secret.
An attorney, water rights attorney process, those interviews would happen during executive session, in which we would be able to probably provide a little bit more information about some of that. Wilson, you have any more insight on that?
You beat me to the punch there, Angie. I was going to say if there are specifics we need to discuss with the candidates, those would be best addressed in executive session.
Okay. Well, funny enough, I've been in touch with a few municipalities this week. And the Colorado Freedom of Information Act coalition, and the only things that are privileged information is personnel records. Not why is the water rights a secret?
The water rights themselves are not a secret, but specific things that would reveal the town's position on different potential cases, that would be attorney-client privilege. Wilson, anything else to add?
I believe that's accurate, again, because water law is such a specialized area of law that is typically practiced by solely water attorneys, and it's slightly outside my area of expertise. I can't kind of get into specifics there, but what Angie said is generally true, that when we are talking about privilege there, it is because there is certain information in addition to, what specific like how much water the town can pull out of a specific stream or ditch, that is included in that information.
Yeah, not for that. So cool. I'm sure Tilda and Gary are not aware, but for the last year, Kendall and I have been asking questions about our deeded water rights and the current filings of usage or intent to use in the future, which staff has not given us whatsoever. Can you hear me, Gary?
And I believe that a former water attorney could probably provide a summary of the work that he has done and what our water rights portfolio is.
Well, Kendall had a meeting with him and he said he would get back to him, and that was 6 months ago, 7 months ago. So I would finally put in a quarter request so that it would require a deadline to get this information, and this information is still not available. So.
In the last day or so, I did receive information from the previous attorney, and that is, again, attorney-client privilege. We could discuss that together in an executive session, but it's not for public release.
Deeded water rights and proof of filing usage with the state should be public record.
What I have, well, you could probably get that from the state. What I have is just a list of our portfolio. So I don't have the usage to my knowledge. But I do have a list of orders.
I don't even need to hear it, I need proof.
And we can discuss
That-
this further in executive session.
This is public record.
Wilson, you want to jump in here?
I believe part of what Angie was referring to was also a memo or some analysis from the prior town attorney or water attorney, correct, Angie?
That's correct.
Yes, so while the underlying rights themselves might be public records, that memo from the town's prior water attorney is covered by attorney-client privilege. So that is not something that can be disclosed through a Cora request. Now, you are also a trustee, and so if you request that information in your capacity as a trustee, not through Cora, can be provided with that, provided, however, that you recognize that it is attorney-client privileged information, and that if it is shared beyond your eyes, that you are, revoking any attorney-client privilege that the town might assert, and also potentially to the extent that the release of that attorney-client privileged information negatively impacts the town's water rights, that would also be implicated. And so that is why that kind of information is not subject to Cora. And so you can follow up with town staff to get a copy of that memo, but that is not something that is provided under Cora. Cora contains an explicit exception for attorney-client privilege materials.
Now, my core request specifically is for a list of deeded water rights owned by the town. That should be public information. And proof of proper filing to keep those water rights through the state. That's my request. I'm not asking for anything private.
With all due respect, trustee Price, I would prefer not to get into your specific core request today. We can continue that conversation.
Yeah, I have a
Over email. But I'm not gonna discuss your specific core request
That's
in a public meeting.
That's fine. I'm gonna ask for it to be on the agenda for the next meeting, so
We can go into executive session if necessary.
nothing's a confidential item on the floor request.
The only changes that I see that need to be made before this is sent out is under current and specific projects requiring legal assistance. Item 2, please correct the second reference to the Hoosier ditch. Right now you say Hoover ditch.
Thank you for catching that.
Any further discussion? May we have a motion?
I move that we approve the draft RFP with the additions and corrections requested, and that they be sent out as soon as those corrections been taken care of, and that they be posted using BidNet. Direct.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we have a vote, please?
Trustee Evans,
Yes.
trustee Winkleblack,
Yes.
trustee Price,
Yes,
Mayor Wilcox.
Yes. Okay. Item number 9, approval of items necessary to complete the Collbran broadband project. Discussion?
yes, this states the remaining work under these 2 contracts will be fully reimbursed by DOLA grant funds and the Mesa County Broadband Funding Award. Do we have written documentation of this?
I can provide it.
That'd be good. And also the change order number, are we approving 2 change orders?
Correct. One is to Newcom Solutions and one is to Aperion Utility Construction.
Both change orders, say change order 2.
That's correct.
It says change order number 2.
For each contract.
Yes, each one is receiving the second change order.
Have we heard anything further from Aperion as far as being possibly out of easement in the alley?
They have acknowledged that and they will come back and correct that.
Awesome, thank you.
Without charging us.
Correct.
That's correct. The supervisor said he would come up and,
They're just waiting to get that
Right.
same team up here.
Right.
But yes, they
Yeah.
will do that.
thank you, Carl.
And just to clarify, it was the May 21st, 2024 meeting, not the 2025 meeting.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So noted.
And what are your a target date, like at the end of this year to have the project complete? Or
Hopefully it's much sooner than that. I believe they have worked through many of the obstacles and are actually getting ready to stage the equipment and all of the different CNLs. So I would hope that perhaps by the end of, I would say tentatively May, the CNL will be lit up, and then this fiber will provide service to those anchor institutions.
yeah, and then it does take time to get that CNL talking to Grand Junction, to Denver. And communicating properly before they can.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of equipment they'll stage in there, so.
What resolution number are we approving tonight?
I believe this one might be resolution number 8. So I didn't put that number on there. My apologies. I'll correct that. Thanks for catching that.
And this is not, the resolution isn't on the agenda.
It's part of the approval of items necessary to complete the Collbran broadband project.
If no further discussion, whether we have a motion,
I move that we approve resolution number 8, series 2025. A resolution of the town of Collbran, Colorado, authorizing revenues and expenditures related to the Collbran Middle Mile Fiber Project for the year ending December 31, 2025.
I second that.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. May we have a vote, please?
Trustee Evans,
Yes.
trustee Winkleblack,
Yes,
trustee Price,
Yes.
Mayor Wilcox.
Yes.
Do we have to approve the change orders separate?
I think you could do them both on the same motion.
Okay. I move that we approve change order number 2 to the Aperion Utility Construction for the Collbran Middle Mile Fiber Optic Broadband Network Construction, and change order number 2 for the Newcom Solutions Collbran Broadband Carrier Neutral Location Contract.
That will be for the item number 9. So just reword that to this agenda. Okay,
Is there a second?
yes, Terry seconded it, so.
Thank
I
you.
second.
So may we have a vote, please?
Trustee Evans,
Yes.
trustee Winkleblack,
yes,
trustee Price,
Yes.
Mayor Wilcox.
Yeah. And
I wanted to
Go ahead.
interject at this point, just to let Jessica know, I wasn't avoiding her question because I really didn't understand the question. And just as a heads up, I don't know how it is for everybody else who's on a Zoom, but for me, it's difficult to kind of hear because it's a significant amount of echoing. So I'd want everybody to know I'm not trying to ignore a situation. It's just that it's not real clear. Now I can hear Wilson very clearly, and I even bought some headphones, so I thought it would help me out. But we haven't really figured out the headphones yet. So I just wanted to kind of give everybody an FYI, and you might get some feedback from anybody else who's doing the Zoom in terms of how is it for them to hear in what's going on, the clarity of what's being said. So I just wanted to say that.
It's just so you know, Gary, part of that. The service that we have speed wise, I don't know if we could get a higher speed from Elite. That's why I pointed out before in the past, if you do a speed test, you have 10 meg down and, or I mean 4 meg down and 2 meg up from here. And I went to download our ordinances, and it was just taking forever, even from my laptop. It's quicker when something is plugged in directly with a 5E cord, like at Carla's computer to the router or something like that. But when it's wireless, you have that lag time. So the solution is to either get a higher speed with Elite, or go with Starlink or Optimus or somebody else that can give us the speed to, so that we don't have those echoing
And it needs to be addressed because Gary's gone for 6 weeks at a time, and I was only confirming that you could hear what I say, Gary, and you confirmed that you're not hearing a lot, so that's a huge disappointment that hasn't been taken care of, and that's something we need to add to maybe a future agenda. So
We could look at improving the microphones. That might help quite a bit.
it's happened a few times. It has been,
It's been going on for a long time.
last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hear, but when you go back to listen to the recordings, you can't hear hardly any, that's hard to say, very.
even before the last election. It was the same.
Yeah, they're, prior to getting the microphones, it was horrible, but even after getting them, it's still not very good.
The town got like a $20,000 donation for upgrades to the town hall, and that can be something we look into. Is a adequate system.
We'll look into that,
So most of them.
Appreciate it.
improving that for sure.
Yeah. Appreciate it. And I don't know who the other ISP provider is, since they changed names. The one that was up there went bankrupt and another one bought them out, and so I don't know who the other ISP would be, but anyway. Just information, I guess, Gary. We'll be working on it.
Keep us updated on how it sounds.
Pardon
Even that on the sound quality, please.
me?
Please remind us every time how it is.
I would say meeting adjourned.
Thanks, everybody online. Have a good day.
Thank you.